Today we are going to learn about loops and if and switch statement in Java. If is used for decision making. If is used to check a condition. The if can be used to check one or more condition, and it can be used to control the flow. We can use if inside the loops which can control the flow. If you look at this piece of line, so it is checking some condition. So in the if statement, inside the opening parenthesis and closing parenthesis, we should use expression. Whatever expression we are using inside the opening parenthesis and closing parenthesis, the expression, the return value of the expression should be Boolean. We can't use other expressions which is returning other than Boolean. In some cases, instead of if, we can use switch statement. If we have more if else condition, instead of if, we can use switch. If we have multiple choices and that checking condition is going to use same variable value, then we can use switch statement instead of if. If you look at this example, we are checking only the value of I. So we are using only the one variable value, and we have multiple choices. Then we can go for switch. If our requirement is along with I, we need to check other variable value and other condition. Instead of switch, we need to use if. And as I already said, if and switch statement used for decision making. And we need to, sometimes we need to use loops in our program. When we need to execute a block of lines several times, then we need to use loops. So the block of lines may be one to many. So when we use loops, we have initialization value, we have condition, and we have increment. Java support 3 loops. One is for loop, while loop, and do while loop. When we use array and collection, we can use from Java 5, we have another loop called enhanced for loop. So using loop, we can get the values from an array, we can get the values from the collection. First I will show you the demo for if statement. What I am going to do is, inside our workspace, I am going to create a directory. Let us open folder as workspace. Java training workspace. Oops. You can create a file. Let me copy paste from my reference. So the class name is if sample, so store it in if sample. So, how to make if statement? I remove this line also. Okay. The syntax of if is, first we need to type if, okay, opening parenthesis, and so for every opening parenthesis there should be a closed parenthesis, and we should have open curly braces, and we should have closely for the corresponding open curly braces there should be a closely curly braces. For the opening parenthesis there should be a closed parenthesis. If you remember, as I said, inside this opening parenthesis and closed parenthesis we should use expression. The return value of the expression should be Boolean. You can't use the expression which is returning other than Boolean. So if you look at here, int age equal to 65. So this is, so here we need to use expression age greater than equal to greater than or equal to 60. So if you look at here, this is the expression. So if you remember, this is the relational operator. If you remember, in the one of the session we have discussed about relational operator. The return value of the relational operator is Boolean. So it will check whether age is greater than or equal to 60. If it is 60, it will return true. Okay. Control. Okay. So this is the valid if statement. I repeat, to write a if statement, first we need to write if opening parenthesis, closed parenthesis, inside closed parenthesis we should write expression. The expression should return Boolean value, and we have opening curly braces and we have closed parenthesis. Inside opening curly braces you can write n number of lines. That means you can write n number of statements. Let us compile and run this program. Okay. Here it is saying you are a senior citizen. We said if statement is used for decision making. So here it is making the decision. If the age is greater than or equal to 60, then do this. So this is decision making. Okay, what I should do if the age is less than 60, less than or equal to 60, what I should do? That block of code should come in else block. Okay, if the condition is match, this block will be executed. If the condition is matched, what I should do? So Control C, Control V, not a senior citizen. Okay, I change this value to some other value. You are not a senior citizen. There can be a multiple if statement inside the same line. There can be a multiple. Let us assume that if the age is greater than or equal to 60, you do this. If the age is greater than and equal to 30, you do this. So there can be a multiple if. So multiple if. So after if, what we should do? We should use else if. Else if. Okay, again for this opening braces, there should be a closely braces. Okay. Here again we need to inside the if there should be a expression which will return Boolean. Okay. So if you look at here, if, else if, else. So what will happen? If the age is greater than 60, the control will go here. If the age is greater than 30, the control will go here. If it is less than 30, control will go here. So if is used to control the flow of your program. It can be used inside the loops and outside the loop also. So let us compile our program. Now the control is come to here. Let us put our age 35. So it should come here. Okay, where it is above 30. To make this program little bit interactive, in Java we can read the input from the command line. For that, Java support, there is a class called scanner. Google it with scanner Java 8 API or Java scanner Java API. So it will, you can choose the first link. So if you look at here, you can use this line, to read the value from the console. This line will be used to read the integer value like 5, 10, 11, 20. If you like to read any integer value, you can use this line. So what we can do is, let's copy paste this. So instead of hard code this age, so what is our variable name? Age. So use here age. If you look at our scanner class, it is reside in which package? java.util. So to use this class, we need to import. How to import? Copy this one. So this is the package, this is the class name. Okay, before we import, let us compile our program so you can understand much better. So we are using scanner class, new scanner system in, and we are reading int from the console. We are storing in age, and we are checking the value of the age variable. Let us compile it. If you look at here, it is showing error. Let me change the font size. If you look at here, it is showing error. What error it is showing? Line number 5. If sample.java 5 means line number 5, it is showing cannot find symbol. Line number 5 cannot find. The reason is we are using a class that is coming from JDK, but we didn't import it. To use a class that is coming from JDK, we should import it. How to import it? This one is package, this one is class. Copy this one. First line, import. All letters should be in small, space, paste this one. This one is package java.util. This one is our class name, and put semicolon. In one of our session, we saw in this program we are using other classes like string and system. These classes are reside in which package? Java.long package. We no need to import string class and system class which is reside in java.long package. The reason is it is a default package. That means by default all the classes which is reside in java.long package is available to all the classes. Only exception is the classes which is reside in java.long package, we no need to import it. It will auto import. Other than java.long package, we should import. Let us compile our program. Let us run it. Java. If you look at here, it is waiting for our input. 65. You are a senior citizen. It is waiting for our input. 35. Radius above 30. It is waiting for our input. You are not a senior citizen. So scanner class is used to get the input from the console. So we should use this syntax with this line to read the integer value. There are other methods also it is supporting. If you look at the documentation, if you scroll down, you can see all the available methods. If you look at here, there is a line like next. Okay. If you use next instead of next int, you can read string value. Okay. If you need to read boolean value true or false, you need to use this one. For every primitive type, you can see the corresponding method. Next byte, next double, next float. Okay. In the current program, we are using this method. Okay. Let us copy this one. Okay. So the if is statement is used for decision making. It can control the flow of your program. If condition, else if condition, if the condition is not specified, what I should do, that will be specified in the if. And another one, inside if I can specify another if. If age again less than So this one is called nested loop. Inside nested if condition, inside if we have another if. Let us compile our program. Okay. You are a senior citizen, you are very old. That's all about if statement. Now we go for switch statement. File, new, we are going to save this file with the same class name. Okay. So in if, the inside the if, inside the parenthesis, what we have used? We have used expression which return true. In the case of switch, what we can do is the syntax of switch is first we should use switch, again opening parenthesis, closing parenthesis, and opening curly braces for corresponding opening curly braces. Here is here closing braces. Switch, opening parenthesis, closing parenthesis, opening curly braces and closed curly braces. Here we need to use variable. The variable type can be integer, int type, byte type, okay, int type or byte type. From Java 8 you can use string also. The arguments can be a string. You can't use float, double. Byte, short, int, string is allowed. So here what you can use, here it should use a variable name which is a type of byte, short, int or string. Okay. So assume that here as in the example, we copy paste it. We are using java.util.start. The reason why we are importing is, if you remember, when we have if sample to use scanner, we should import it. We should import a scanner class. You can, instead of star, you can use scanner. That is also valid. You can import like this, or star. What star will say is import all the classes which is reside in java.util package. It will import all the classes, but if you use scanner, it will only import scanner from the util package. Okay, but the good programming practice is we should import the classes which we are using inside our program. So this is a good practice. Instead of star, using this one is good practice. I forgot to copy this one. Okay. Now inside the switch statement, as I said, we should use that type of the variable should be int, byte or string. So here we are in. Okay. So inside switch we should use case statement. So case is something like, again, case, after that we should use constant. That means we should use literals which should not change. Here you can't change, you can't use the variable. Let us assume that there is a like this int age. You can't use age here. This one is wrong. Here we should use constant or literal which don't change. If you look at here, case 1, that means this is a constant which don't change as the program is running. So switch, after that case space, there should be a there should be a space between case and the constant value. Okay. So this one is valid switch statement. If you look at the sample, what we have written, switch, opening parenthesis, variable name, close to parenthesis, and opening curly braces. For corresponding open curly braces, there is a closing curly braces. Inside the switch statement, we need to write a case. Normally switch statement have more than one cases. Here for explanation purpose I have written only one case, but normally it have multiple cases, more than one cases. Let us compile and run our program. Java spelling mistake. Okay, it is compiled. Java switch demo. Enter the number between 1 to 5. So what will happen if I enter other than 1? it is not printing anything. The reason is it is getting the input from us. When we give input, we are giving the input in this line. Whatever we are giving input, it is stored in num. So the num is going here. Okay, for the corresponding num we have the case. Here we are checking the num value with 1. If it is 1, it is printing this one. Okay, we entered 1, so it is printing 1. If we enter other than 1, no other case which satisfy the criteria. So to satisfy other, what we need to do, we need to write other cases. I enter 3, okay, 3. I enter 2, 2. I enter 5, 5. I enter 7. Now it will not print anything, because for the 7 there is no matching case. Let us assume that you would like to print something if none of the condition cases are satisfied. Then in switch there is a default. If none of the cases is satisfied, then default will be executed. I'm entering 8. Please enter the values from 1 to 5. The reason is we are entering 8. For 8 there is no matching case, though control is coming here. So as I already said, we can use switch instead of if when we have multiple cases which we are going to check the condition against the same variable value. Okay. If you need to use multiple conditions, sometimes we need to check condition like if the age and your salary and your gender, that kind of decision checking, we can't use switch, we need to use if. That's all about if and switch statement. Next we are going to cover about loops. So loops, we have while loop, do while loop and for loop.